Hello, my name is Dr. Esther L. Perez, and I am the Executive Director of the Larry G. Meeks Virtual Academy. Thank you for joining us for this informational session regarding the Academy and how and what and who and all of those good stuff that most of our families are dying to know about. So we're going to get this party started in this presentation. Here we go. So thank you for joining us. I am going to review a couple of things, but let's get started on that awesome vision that our Natomas Unified has. We truly, firmly are working to make sure that all students graduate college and career ready, productive, responsible, and engaged global citizens. The Larry G. Meeks Academy is going to live by this to a T. Just because your child is learning from home does not mean that they will get anything less of this goal. Okay, this is our guiding vision and core beliefs that we will also enwrap in everything that we do is to make sure all students can learn and succeed. We believe that. As well, at the same time, disparity and disproportionality can and must be eliminated. At the same time, our diversity is a strength, and of course, our staff must be committed, collaborative, caring, and exemplary. Now, these are the Natomas Unified goals, and it's a 5-year plan. I'm sure we're going to write another 5-year goals after 2022, but for the meantime, this is what our Academy will be shooting for as well, increasing student success in those different core content areas, making sure, again, college and career readiness, as well as engaging parents and families to support student success in school. The same thing will happen at the Virtual Academy. At the same time, we will create safe and welcoming learning environments where students are connected to each other and the schools. And of course, we will recruit, hire, train, and retain high quality staff who are committed, collaborative, caring, and again, exemplary. So a couple of things that we will review in this presentation: the goals of the Academy, projected timelines, what enrollment looks like, some staffing clarifications, and then answer a couple of frequently asked questions that pop up on our website, as well as a couple other opportunities to stay informed and engaged with us. So here we go. The goals of the Larry G. Meeks Academy. We want to provide families with an additional school option, okay? We want to make sure we provide as much learning in a virtual instructional model for grades K-8. And I want to clarify, Larry G. Meeks Academy is officially a K-8 school. Now, we are considered technically a program, not an official school, but a program for grades 9 through 12, okay? Why, I'll explain in a second, has to do with sports and official eligibility. So we'll get to that in a second, okay? Of course, other parts of our academy is that we want to offer flexible scheduling for families. Again, we will explain this in detail. What are we intended to do? Well, we're intended to be a positive educational setting for students who thrive in virtual learning. We want to be a long-term alternative. This is not just a response to the pandemic, okay? This is long-term education done virtually. And lastly, we know that some families did enjoy distance learning. There are a lot of positives to this model. So we wanted to make sure we're offering that in addition to all our regular schools and programs, right? Now, I want to clarify how this is different than distance learning. This is not just go onto Google Classroom and complete packets of work, okay? This is synchronous, meaning at the same time, the teacher will be instructing over the computer while students complete lessons and activities. Our teachers are going to be trained. We will have dedicated Meeks Academy only teachers for grades K-8. And for high school, we'll have a blend. Some maybe only Meeks Academy class virtual instructors. Some might teach both. A lot of that depends on numbers and enrollment. We will also have in-person activities that'll reinforce our learning, okay? And that is at all grade levels. We might have some in-person field trips, assemblies, other events, because we do want to make sure our students still have those key opportunities for social experiences, right? And most importantly, in my mind, is that all students can join, even students with the disabilities. Of course, there are some students with needs that maybe the virtual model isn't always optimal, but there are a lot that actually it does work just great. So we want to make sure we are available to all students and meet their needs as best as possible. And that includes even differentiation for students that maybe need some advanced learning, maybe a faster pacing. We're going to build that in as well. Again, overview, I've kind of mentioned this, K-8 for Larry G. Meeks Academy is a public school. We are officially a school of our own. We are located currently at Bannon Creek, although we are a separate school. For the 9-12 program, again, it's not an official school, but you'll be taking courses with the program. You'll also be taking some courses still with your regular home high school of residence, which is usually what Indercombe High School or Natomas High for the most part. Okay, so a couple of things at the K-8 level. Of course, credential teachers will have self-contained classes for grades K-8. You do have to do what's called an intra-district transfer, which just says, hey, although I live in this area, I want to attend the academy. That's pretty much it. It's some paperwork. It's fairly easy. And we have people at the district who can help you if you need any support filling out paperwork, okay? Other things, the teachers lead the virtual lessons. There are some independent lessons done asynchronously, but for the most part, most of it is synchronous taught. We do use all of the board adopted state approved curriculum. It's going to be 99% digital. Of course, there will be some paper and pen and textbook depending on what the subject is. And of course, we've already talked about that flexibility. We'll get more in detail on that when we go over bell schedules. A couple of other things, we're going to offer lots of intervention because we know that students usually need that, right? And again, when we get to that bell schedule, we will go over that. Other manipulatives will be available, like I've already said, field trips, clubs, other things that happen on campus we can still offer, okay? So don't think of it as 100% online, but just a majority online. Social emotional learning supports will be embedded as well as English language learner supports. For 7th and 8th graders at that middle school level, very similar across the board. Obviously, the schedule looks slightly different. You'll have access to college and career planning academic counselors who can help you start thinking and not even thinking, planning for those high school courses and for ultimately college, right? And of course, everything is to the book with curriculum that's state and board approved, and advanced courses do exist as well, okay? Now, for the 9th through 12th grade, same thing with credentialed teachers, but the difference is you're still enrolled at your home high school of residence, which for the most of Natomas Unified is going to be either Indercombe or Natomas High. Now, what happens is essentially you'll take some courses online with the Meeks Academy, okay? Usually it's going to be the core courses, English, math, science, social studies, history, right? When we get to electives and certain really specific courses, those might still have to be offered in person. Maybe a couple years down when we grow even bigger, maybe we'll be able to offer all of them, but currently it's going to be the majority online with some still in person, okay? Now, for high schoolers, the awesome part of this is that you essentially still get the technology, and we'll go over that in a second, but you still get access to all of those elective courses, or you get to participate in sports, provided you maintain eligibility, your ASB activities, your dances, your proms, all those things, you'll still get to participate in, as well as CTE or career technical education courses, okay? And lastly, if you wanted to be dual enrolled, that's still an option with the local colleges, okay? A couple more things on 9-12, you're still taking, for 9th through 12th graders, you're still taking A through G courses, which are the courses you need to make sure you are ready to apply for colleges, right? All of the supports that I've already mentioned, from EL, English language learner, to special education, 504 plan supports, those still exist and will be offered, obviously. We would ask for a transition meeting just to make sure all of your services are set to go either virtually or some in person. You will have access to teacher office hours, and you will check in with a teacher daily to make sure you're on track, you're not falling behind, all of that good stuff. And as well as with your counselors, okay? Counselors at the high school level will still be meeting with students taking classes with Meeks Academy to make sure they are ready to graduate. So what does a typical day look like? Well, first of all, most Meeks Academy scholars will log in at the start of the day. Now, I say that with a little asterisk, which is that little star, because some students and even some grade levels might have a staggered or alternative day schedule. For instance, maybe on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you log in at the beginning of the day. Maybe on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you log in closer to 10 a.m. I'll talk about some of those details in a second, okay? You'll complete you'll complete some assignments asynchronously. That means without your teacher, but you will still participate in much of your classes synchronously with your live instructor. And you still get your lunch breaks and all those other good stuff. So it's not just, you're not online all day long, okay? And of course, as mentioned, you can participate in other activities on campus. And again, we're going to look at some bell schedules because now we want to see what does it actually look like. Okay, well, let's go back to our elementary. So here we go. Most elementary Meeks scholars will follow a schedule very similar to this. Now, we might change the exact start time, so don't write this down in your calendar right now, but just know it's going to follow this general flow, which is you have a morning meeting, which is your check-in, you kind of review the agenda, talk about the day's goals or the week's goals. There'll be a social emotional learning event. It could be a circle. It could be some kind of discussion or very pointed and focused activities to make sure our students are still learning social, emotional skills and all of that great stuff. Then you'll have a synchronous, that means with your teacher live online virtually, class for either math or ELA, then ELA or math after, then you'll take a science, an elective, other extracurricular activities, and either synchronous or asynchronous work. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's explain this here. If you notice at the top is the time. So for example, your morning meeting from 7:30 to 7:45, then 7:45 to 8:10, your social emotional learning, then your math for about 50-ish minutes, your ELA for about 50-ish minutes. But if you look, look right here, there's a break, and we call that win time. Win number one. Win stands for what I need. So for example, if you're a student that needs a little extra help in math, your teacher is going to get to help you, give or take, from 9 to 9:20. Now, your teacher's a human too, and they'll need a little bathroom break for sure, right? Sometimes in those win times. So the win time is either extra support or a break or stand up, get around and move around, even though our teachers will still build in some move around time within lessons, of course, even from the comfort of your home. So that was a lot. Now, if you look at the schedule, what I need time, there are actually 3 what I need times built into the day to ensure those students that maybe didn't need as much time and they can do things a lot quicker, they get a break. But students that need a little extra help, well, there you go. You got, give or take, about an hour, almost 2 hours of extra support, almost. Lunch is built in, and we tried to model this as close as we could to most of the regular school day schedules. And then again, like we said, an elective course for our K-6 scholars, as well as extracurricular activities. So it looks very similar to a regular day, but done virtually for the most part. Now, what about 7th through 8th graders? Well, again, it's going to be very similar. You check in the morning, you have your live virtual instruction, synchronous math, ELA, then you get a break, then you get science history. Now, again, it's very similar where you will essentially have 10 to 15 minutes. There is one official win time, even though there's a little bit, some break time that could be considered win time, but the official win time, what I need time for 7th and 8th grade, is from 12:50 to 1:50. Again, that could change a little bit, so don't memorize that, but it's 1 hour's worth, okay? So every single 7th and 8th grader can get that 1 hour of time with their teacher where, hey, I didn't understand the science lesson today. Can we go over it again with their teacher? Yes, for sure. All of those things where we wish we had that personal tutor, well, guess what? You get more than a tutor, you get a personal teacher for that what I need time, okay? Perhaps sometimes a teacher might say, hey, I realized 3 of my students didn't really understand this math lesson. That win time, that teacher might say, I'm going to meet with just those 3 students to make sure they get that extra help, okay? Most of PE will be asynchronous. There is some synchronous PE, but I just marked it asynchronous just so that we know. Most PE will be done at the end of the day, but some of this can be mixed around, right? That's the beauty of this. If a teacher starts realizing that, hey, most of my students prefer to do PE in the morning, the teacher can swap it around, provided they don't skip it, all right? We're making sure we get everything included, all right? Now, high schoolers, this is most high school scholar schedules. So for example, you'll wake up in the morning, you'll do a check-in with one of your Meeks teachers. It'll probably be whoever you have first period. And this, again, this is just an example. You'll start with your synchronous online biology course, then your English, then your math. You might have to take a course in either Apex or some other programs, or this could even be in person. Maybe you don't actually show up to your high school till 10 in the morning. And then or actually we could play around with this, right? But let me keep on going before I get ahead of myself. You might take a course on Apex and then synchronous world history or social studies, and then PE. Now, again, let's say you are an athlete. You really don't want to take courses on Apex too much because there are some NCAA requirements. If you want to go big time to college athletics and try to go pro, you don't want to take Apex courses. So what we would do in that course is maybe we'd move this Apex Spanish, oops, sorry, got ahead of myself, Apex Spanish from this section to maybe the end of the day. So maybe you don't go into high school till, to actual campus until 1 p.m. in the day, and you just take your Spanish class, then you go play your sport. So there's a lot of flexibility. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Sometimes you might get a course in the morning that maybe you wish you could have taken in the afternoon. It just depends, but there is so much flexibility. It's going to allow you to do much more practice, freedom, flexibility, all of that stuff that you want as a high school student. Here's another example that's very specific for perhaps, let's say you're an Indercom high school student and you want to pursue like a media communications route in your future. You want to be a reporter, a news reporter. You would then take classes at Indercom. So not all of it's online. Remember, you're actually an Indercom high school student. You take a bunch of classes in the morning, and then around midday, then you would take your synchronous or asynchronous online classes, okay? And so essentially you'd be leaving high school and going home and finishing the rest early. So there are tons of flexibility where you get to play with your schedule. Now that's just one example. What if you're a Natomas high school student? Again, this is just an example. Let's say you're into the arts. You really either want to pursue music or design, something more artistic. You will be taking courses on campus at Natomas High School, and then give or take around a little bit after 1:10, closer to 2 something, then you'll take the rest of your courses online. Again, it's a route for you to take specific courses, sometimes advanced, many times advanced, and get what you want done at your schedule, okay? That is the beauty of this wonderful Larry G. Meeks program for the 9th through 12th. This is just another visual. These are located, everything is located at our website, which I will share in a second. But again, I want you guys just to kind of see the overview is that, hey, some students might have a lot of synchronous time with their teacher virtually, and then maybe flexible time at the end where they're doing some offline work on their own. But some students might just like a little bit of that and then do more all on their own. Okay, so there's just a lot of variety built into this program. Same thing for middle schoolers and same thing for high schoolers. Okay, just looks slightly different based on what each grade level or grade group takes. All right, the technology package, how exciting. Well, if you are a Meeks Academy scholar and you're in grades kindergarten through 2nd grade, you're going to get an Apple iPad. All right, so much easier to point, move around things, all that good stuff. And every student, regardless of grade, will get a case to hold either their laptop or their iPad in. You'll get an external monitor and a little plug to where you can have 2 screens, okay? Your iPad screen and your monitor, or your laptop and your monitor. a scanner to scan in some assignments eventually that you might have to turn in. We're going to try to save Mother Earth and not use a lot of paper, but there will be a handful of times where we just have to use paper. So you'll scan things in. Headphones, so that you can keep that audio to yourself in your home. Maybe if something's going on in your house, you need a little bit special sound equipment. It's not special, but it's a headset that will help you be able to concentrate. What else? Headphones, and then a keyboard and a mouse. So you have a lot of awesome technology. And then if you're in grades 3 through 12, we want you to have a official laptop instead of the iPad. You'll get an Apple MacBook Air, essentially, an Apple laptop, and all of that other good stuff to be able to do everything from the comfort of your home, right? Now, these are checked out to you. You don't get them to keep them forever, but there are going to be some insurance packages and some other stuff just to make sure if anything happened, you're taken care of, okay? So more information coming on that when you enroll. Timelines. Well, just a couple things. We want about 500 students, okay? Enrollment began in late March. It's still open. It will probably be open for quite a while, but we do ask that you try to complete this in the month of May. All right. The sooner the better, because it helps us for planning. If we get too many enrolled late, we might have to do a cutoff, just because it'll be really hard for us to hire people. But hey, you have all of May to get this done. The sooner the better. Staffing, again, it's based on enrollment, but class sizes will be pretty similar to what you see in everyday classes. Myself, the executive director, along with an office staff, will be ensuring that we help you, and we have a dedicated IT support who can help us with any technical glitches that may arise. And just so you know, Larry G. Meeks Academy, the name was approved just a couple weeks ago. For those of you that don't know Mr. Meeks, he is an awesome person in our history, helped with the unification of Natomas Unified, was a board member. He's a current pastor and artist. He's just done great, amazing things for the Sacramento area, Natomas and Sacramento. Other things, orientation will be the first week of August, and our first day of school, just like everyone else, August 12th, 2021. How do you enroll? Well, you're going to go to this website right here, natomasunified.org/virtual-academy. You can even just go to the natomasunified.org and search for the academy, or look under the list of schools. We are there. Then you click on enrollment when you get to our page, and basically it's 3 options. One, if you're in option 1 is where you live in Natomas, and you want to attend the academy. Option 2 is if you live in Natomas, but you're maybe outside of your regular homeschool area. And then option 3 is if you don't live in Natomas and you're watching this because you're interested, there's still an option for you to attend by filling out what's called an IntraDistrict Transfer permit. Most of you who are already in Natomas are going to do option 1. Only a handful will do option 2. And then some of you from out of district will do inter-district option 3, okay? If you have any questions, of course, we have dedicated enrollment specialists who can help you. All you got to do is ask, and I'll give some contact information in a second. Other things about intra-district transfers, there's one caveat. You do have to fill out some paperwork. The only thing you need to understand is that we do make these decisions with a family decision. So we want to make sure that, if you're an 8th grader and you're filling this out on your own and not informing your parents, that's not cool. So we will reach out to parents to make sure this is a group decision. Can you transfer back to your school if you don't like it? Technically you can, but it would be at the end of the school year. We do ask you to spend at least 1 year with the academy before you decide to switch. We wouldn't want you just to spend a week only and decide you're out. That's not enough time to actually truly understand what the program's about. So some updates. You want to stay informed, please make sure you keep our website handy. Check it out every week or so. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and we also have podcasts on our Natomas Unified website as well. Tons of information that is coming out about our awesome program. For follow-up, we will have a couple of more information sessions live to get your questions. But the next one is May 5th at 7 p.m. You can email 2 places if you have questions, either our general virtual academy email address, which is nusdva@natomasunified.org, or you can email me, Dr. Perez, at eperez@natomasunified.org. Don't forget, write that down in your calendar. The first week, we'll give you more times and all those specifics later, but the first week of August will be orientation. We will need to make sure you know what's coming up and all the plan for the regular school year. And as always, we are in this together. So once you enroll, we're going to start sending you some invites, some updates to upcoming events. And by the way, if you type in, I know it's not the easiest to type in on this video, but if you got ideas about what our official Larry G. Meeks Academy colors and maybe our mascot should be, please type in that. You can pause this video and maybe type that in another tab and give us your thoughts. What are some ideas? What colors should we be? We had some people thinking we should be the Meerkats, the Meeks Meerkats. We had some people thinking we should be the Meeks Mavericks, Meeks Mustangs, Meeks Minks. That's hard to say for me. But hey, give us those ideas. We want them because we're designing a new school and we want you to be part of it, okay? So other frequently asked questions are really usually specific questions. So I'm not going to answer too many other than say if you do have more questions, again, you're either going to contact myself or our general email, as well as visit our website. There's a whole list of frequently asked questions there. And on that note, if you absolutely need anything, you know where to email, find us. We'll send a general phone line as well in the next coming weeks. Again, we're brand new, so we are designing all of that. But thank you so much for listening and watching this video. Any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. We are here to serve our Natomas families and even those outside, all right? We want the best program for everyone. So we are going to wrap this up. Thank you. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.